Hello everyone and welcome back to my balcony. We are gathered today outside because it is nice and warm, so we're sitting outside. What more of a reason could you have to be sitting outside? So today is going to be my July TBR because it's almost July and I'm reading from a TBR now. So we're gonna make one. I have a little board with my TBR on it because I always forget what books are actually on my TBR, and this way I can just, like a grocery list, check them off whenever I've read them. This is my TBR for June and I haven't read many books off of it. I've tried to read some books off of it, but I just really wasn't getting into them, so I read other things instead. So when we talk about a book I want to read, I'm also going to be updating the board. Okay, so the first book I want to read is actually on my June TBR, so I'm gonna keep it on for my July TBR, and that is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I've wanted to read this for a while. I said I was gonna read this at the start of June and I didn't. I started Crescent City instead. I'm still really excited to read this, so I'm keeping it on. I'm starting this very soon because I'm very excited about this. Yeah. Once Upon a Broken Heart is about Evangeline who falls in love and her crush marries, but not to her, and she gets upset by that. So she makes a deal with the bad guy trying to get the good guy to fall in love with her. And the bad guy wants things from Evangeline in return that she has not made a deal for. So things go not quite as planned. Once Upon a Broken Heart, I'm leaving it on. I'm not taking it off. I might keep on the whole entire series because that whole entire series was on my TBR. I might keep the whole thing on. The next book I want to read in July is The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. This was the June pick for Gavin's book club and I haven't gotten to it yet, so I'm picking this up very, very soon, hopefully in time for the live show, because I want to be able to talk shit with them during the live shows. The Familiar is about Louisa, and Louisa has magic, but no one knows she has magic, and once her boss finds out that she does have magic, her boss expects her to work for her using the magic, so doing things that she can only do with magic. And because of that, Louisa dives into the world of hungry nobility, and in order to do a better job of it, she asks for the help of a familiar, an ancient familiar. Leigh Bardugo, The Familiar. I'm reading this very soon. So the next book I want to read is a very, very new release, and I'm very, very excited about this. I've been waiting for this for ages. I pre-ordered this somewhere last year. I'm so excited to get to this. Obviously, it's the new Ali Hazelwood. I'm so excited to start Another Love. Another Love is about Rue, and Rue starts a friends with benefits kind of relationship with Eli, and things happen and they fall in love, and it's a workplace romance, so not quite that ethical, but I'm very excited about this. There are some trigger warnings at the beginning that could be triggering for me personally. There are some things that I've read happen in this book that can be very personal to me, and I'm quite nervous to read about that, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna power through. I'm very excited to get to this. I'm so happy this finally came in. You have no idea. So yeah, I'm finally reading this, and that means it's time to update the board. Oh yeah, so the top 4 I actually read, so they can go. So I'm just taking the top 1, which was Spy Family Volume 5. I'm erasing that, giving it giving it a new check mark. Now it's on there. Now I have to, it's on the top as well, so I have to read it very, very soon, and I will. This will not be a bride kind of situation. It will not. I promise. So the next book, the next few books actually I want to read are for the Summerween readathon by Gabby Reads. I'm still waiting on my merch. I've ordered a Happy Camper t-shirt and I'm still waiting for it. But I'm gonna participate even if it doesn't come in time. If you don't know the concept of Summerween, it's you read scary books in summer. I have some good picks lined up for Summerween, so I'm very excited for Summerween. The first book I want to read for Summerween is My Darling Dreadful Things. This is about Rose, and Rose becomes friends with a widow, and this widow invites Rose to stay with her in the widow's manor. And Rose says yes for whatever reason, but at some point someone is murdered and everyone is pointing their little grubby fingers at Rose because she's the new one, right? So Rose needs to find the murderer and prove everyone that she is not the murderer. My cat's trying to jump. So yeah, My Darling Dreadful Things. I'm very excited to get to this. I saw this in the bookstore a few weeks ago and I was like, this is perfect. Also, this author, Johanna van Veen, she's actually Dutch. So shout out to you, miss. Shout out to you. Okay, I'm putting it on the board. I need to not forget putting things on the board. I'm already starting to forget putting things on the board. Give her a new check mark. Ta-da! She's on there. That's a must now. I have to read her. I say that even though I haven't read most of the books that were on my TBR for June. Anyways, the next book I want to read is also for Summerween, and that is The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher. I absolutely love T. Kingfisher. I recently read What Feasted Night. I really liked it. T. Kingfisher can do no wrong, in my opinion. I'm very excited to start it. So, The Twisted Ones is about Mouse. Mouse is in a little house in the woods, which is her grandmother's, and she's asked to clean out the attic. And while she's doing that, she finds that her grandmother is a hoarder. So she has a lot of work to do. While cleaning out the attic, she finds an old journal from her grandfather. And at first she thinks there's nonsensical things in there, but later turns out that there isn't quite as much nonsensical stuff in there as she thought. But then Mouse encounters some terrifying stuff and has to get face to face with some pretty bad things. So I think it's perfect for Summerween. I really like T. Kingfisher. It's a horror book, so what can go wrong, right? Summerween, putting it on the board. Give her a new check mark. Ta-da! It's official. We're reading it today. Well, not today. We're reading it. So the next book I want to read for Summerween is The House That Horror Built by Christina Henry. I've never read a Christina Henry before, so I'm curious to find what is waiting for me. The House of Horror is about Harry, who is a single mother, and she desperately needs money. Harry has always loved horror movies, so when she gets a job offer for cleaning the house of an old horror movie director, she jumps at the chance, and she does the job with respect and keeps her head held down because she knows he wants privacy. But then she starts hearing things in the walls and noises behind doors that aren't supposed to be as noisy. So the question is, are the horror movies really horror movies, or are they reality? Nobody knows. Giving it a check mark. And she's on there. Okay, so for the last book I want to read for Summerween, I want to read All of His Villains. It's been a very popular book for a very long while, I think, and I've been eyeing it every once in a while, and I was like, I want to read that. But it's Summerween now, so I get to read it. All of Us Villains is about 7 magical families who are entering a tournament, trying to beat each other and kill each other off, trying to figure out which one is the most powerful family. The winner of the tournament gets rewarded with exclusive access to the magic supply, which is the most powerful source in the world until the next tournament happens. So it's basically the Hunger Games, but with magic. And I'm really excited for it. So it's on the TBR, so it's going on the board. Since I didn't finish Red, White, and Royal Blue, I still have the check mark unchecked, so we don't need a new one. So I'm gonna just write her down. She's on there. Okay, so for the next book I want to read, I said the last TBR video that I wanted to read all the Crescent City books within 3 months. I finished book 1. I loved book 1, gave it 5 stars. But I now do have to read book 2. So I'm gonna have to put that on the TBR as well. On one hand, I'm really excited about it because I loved book 1. On the other hand, I've heard a lot of people saying book 2 is where things get worse. Like, it's not getting... Book 2 is not quite as good as book 1, so I'm very nervous for that. However, I'm still gonna read it. I have both a paperback and a hardback copy, but they're inside and I'm too lazy to go get them. I'm just gonna pop a picture up there. But I'm putting it on the TBR. It's all fun and games until you write something the wrong way. We have her on there, and then after that, all the books that are on the TBR are The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon, A Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber, and A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. However, I still want to read the entire series of Once Upon a Broken Heart, so I'm leaving that on. The Bone Season, I don't see why I shouldn't be reading it, so I'm leaving that on as well. I'm not gonna pick something else for that. However, is it a priority of mine? No, it's not. The other ones are much more something I want to read instead of I have to read them because they're on my TBR. So don't be surprised if that doesn't get read. But the other ones I really, really, really want to get to. So that is the entirety of the July TBR. We start with Another Love, which I'm very excited about. Then My Darling Dreadful Things for Summerween. The Twisted Ones for Summerween. The House That Horror Built, also for Summerween. All of Us Villains, the last for Summerween. Crescent City 2, because I'm reading the series. The Bone Season, not that much of a priority. The Familiar for Gavin's book club. And Once Upon a Broken Heart, A Ballad of Never After, and A Curse for True Love. This is the TBR. They're all big books, so good luck to me. That was all that I wanted to talk about today. That's the entirety of the TBR. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I see you guys next time. So, thank you for watching. Thank you all for being here. And I'll see you guys next time.